Libra, you won't be able to stay near this person. Your body knows before your mind accepts it. It's a physical sensation, like two inverted magnets being forced together. You can push, you can use force, you can insist they should connect. But the more you try, the more the repulsion grows. Not anger, not hatred, just impossibility. Like trying to mix oil and water. Like trying to force your breath when your lungs are already full. And you feel it with a specific person, not with everyone, not with most people, but with this one. With this one, you feel it in your stomach, you feel it in your chest, you feel it in the way your body involuntarily recoils when they enter the room, and you hate it, because Libra doesn't want to reject, doesn't want to exclude, doesn't want to be the person who can't make things work. So you try harder than anyone would, you rationalize. Maybe I'm being superficial, maybe I need more time, maybe I'm being unfair. And you force a smile, you force conversations, you force your presence. But the body doesn't lie, and the body is screaming away. I need to be away. And the person, it can be anyone, not always the obvious villain. Sometimes it's someone everyone loves, sometimes it's someone who should be perfect on paper, sometimes it's even someone you want to love. Someone you think you should love. But frequency is wrong, and you can't change frequency. You can't adjust, you can't harmonize what is fundamentally dissonant. And that person might be reading this right now and thinking, is this about me? And maybe it is, but not because you're bad, not because you're wrong, but because you and Libra specifically are like musical notes that create dissonance when played together. Separately, beautiful, together, painful. Libra, you need to hear this. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. It's simply an energetic incompatibility that no amount of effort can fix. And trying hurts you. It hurts them. It hurts everyone around you who has to watch you force yourself into something your whole body is rejecting. So let me help you identify it. Because maybe you're still in denial. Maybe you're still trying to convince yourself that you can make it work. That person, when you're with them, time drags on. It doesn't pass, it drags on. Every minute feels like an hour. Every conversation feels like a marathon. And you keep counting how long until you can politely leave, how long until you have a valid excuse. And while you're counting, you're smiling, you're waving, you're pretending everything's fine. But inside you're suffocating. And it's not necessarily because the conversation is boring, it's because the energy is wrong. Completely wrong, like wearing clothes that aren't your size. Technically you can wear them, you can button them up, you can force the zipper shut, but you can't breathe, you can't move naturally, you can't be comfortable. With this person you feel exhausted for no logical reason. You didn't do anything strenuous, you just talked, you were just in the same space. But you leave feeling like you've run a marathon, like you've worked a double shift, like you fought an invisible battle, and you did. A battle to maintain composure when your whole body wants to retreat. A battle to force harmony where there is only friction. And what's worse, you feel guilty about the exhaustion. Why am I like this? Why can't I just be normal? Why does this person drain me when they haven't done anything wrong? And you carry guilt along with exhaustion, and both crush you. You find yourself avoiding it, constantly. You see their names on the phone and your stomach clenches. You see them approaching and suddenly you need to go to the bathroom. You're in a group and unconsciously position yourself to avoid direct interaction. And you do it so subtly that maybe even they don't notice, but you do. You feel the elaborate choreography you've created to maintain distance without seeming like you're maintaining distance. And what happens when avoidance isn't possible? When you're forced into proximity? You survive. But surviving isn't living, and you emerge from those interactions needing days to recover, days alone, days in silence, days recalibrating, because being near them throws you off balance in ways you can't name but definitely feel. And perhaps worst of all, you try to like them and you can't. You list reasons. They're intelligent, they're successful, they're good-looking, they're funny. On paper they're great, but the reality? The reality is that your nervous system rejects their presence like your body rejects an incompatible organ, and the more you try to force affection, the stronger the repulsion becomes. And right here I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. Not with me, with yourself. Libra, are you forcing closeness with someone your whole body is begging you to let go of? Are you holding on to this person out of obligation, guilt, or fear of being a bad person when every cell in your body is pleading for space? If so, write in the comments, I'm trying to force what my body already knows is impossible, because your honesty here isn't just for you. It's for every Libra reading this right now who thinks they're unique, who thinks they're flawed, who thinks they should be able to make it work. And when do you admit it? When do you break the silence of this invisible struggle? You give permission for others to admit it too. You transform loneliness into community. And the comment is the first step towards liberation. So comment, because carrying this burden alone hurts you more than the incompatibility itself. And now that you've admitted it, at least to yourself if not in a comment, let me show you exactly why you can't get close. Because it's not random. It's not you being difficult. There are specific reasons that make sense when you understand how Libra works. Libra is a sign of balance, but balance doesn't mean static. It means constant adjustment. You're like a tightrope walker, always adjusting, always compensating, always seeking the center. And most people facilitate this. Their energy aligns with yours. You find rhythm, you find flow, you find natural harmony, even if it's not perfect. But this person is weight that moves erratically. Weight you can't predict, you can't compensate for it, you can't balance it no matter how hard you try. And being with them is like trying to balance on a tightrope while someone is shaking the rope. Technically possible for moments, sustainably impossible. Eventually you fall, or you let go of them. This person operates at a frequency that your system cannot harmonize with. Think about music. Some notes together create beautiful chords. Others create dissonance that makes you want to cover your ears. It's not that notes are bad individually, it's that together they create sound that is physically uncomfortable to listen to. You and that person, your discordant notes. And Libra, being ruled by Venus, a sign of aesthetic harmony, you feel dissonance as physical pain, not metaphorical, physical. In your body, in your soul, in every fiber of your being. And you tried to change your note, you tried to adjust, you tried to find harmony, but you can't create harmony when fundamental frequencies are incompatible. You can create silence where you simply don't play your note, but silence isn't harmony, it's the absence of you, and maybe that person is good, maybe even amazing, for others, for most, but for you they are poison wrapped in pretty paper, not because they are universally toxic, but because the chemistry between them creates toxicity. How can two substances that are harmless separately be harmful together? Together they create a reaction that is harmful, and you might even see others loving that person, flourishing around that person, and you think, what's wrong with me? But you're asking the wrong question. There's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with them, there's just everything wrong with you two together. And to try to force it, to try because it should work, because it makes sense on paper, because everyone else can do it, it's violence against one's own nature. It's a rejection of the wisdom that the body is offering. It's a betrayal of oneself in the name of being reasonable. And there's more. This person, they probably feel it too, perhaps not consciously, perhaps not in the same way, but on a deep level, they feel that you're not fully present, that you're forcing yourself, that there's invisible resistance. And that hurts them too, because nobody wants to be tolerated. Nobody wants to be a project. Nobody wants to be the person someone is heroically trying to like. So when do you finally let go? When do you finally admit incompatibility and create distance? It's not just liberation for you, it's liberation for them too. It's permission for both of you to find people where closeness is natural, not forced, where presence is a gift, not an obligation. And about the guilt you're feeling, let me relieve you of that. You didn't choose to feel this way. You didn't wake up and decide, today I'm going to be incompatible with this person. Your nervous system, your energy, your essence, it simply doesn't synchronize with theirs. And that's not a moral failing. It's not superficiality. It's not you being a bad person. It's about being honest about the energetic reality that exists independently of what you want or what it should be. And honesty, even uncomfortable honesty, is always more ethical than a polite lie. always. A kind lie is forcing a smile when you're dying inside. A kind lie is saying, "I loved seeing you," when you're already planning how to avoid the next encounter. A kind lie is keeping their presence in your life when their presence is a burden you can't bear. And you think you're protecting them with lies, but you're not. You're just prolonging the inevitable while hurting yourself and deceiving them. And when the truth finally emerges, and it always does, it hurts more, because it was built on a foundation of falsehood. So what do? Concretely, practically. First, stop trying. Stop forcing it. Stop punishing yourself for not being able to make it work. Your body is giving you vital information. Listen. Second, create distance. Not dramatically, not cruelly, but firmly. If it's a relationship that can be ended, friendship, dating, partnership, you end it, gently but clearly. I realize that our energies don't synchronize in a way that would be healthy for both of us. I need space. If it's a relationship that can't be ended, family, colleague, you create boundaries, time limits, closeness limits, energy limits. You interact when necessary, but no more. You are polite but not intimate. You maintain a distance that allows you to breathe. Third, you stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying yourself. Stop trying to make others understand, because most won't understand. They don't feel what you feel. They don't have a system as sensitive to energetic dissonance, and that's okay. You don't need their approval. You need peace. And peace comes from honoring what your body is telling you. And about that person, they will survive without you. I promise. They will find people where chemistry is natural, where closeness is easy, where presence is mutually energizing, and these people will give them what you could never give: authentic, unforced connection. And you will breathe again. You will feel space where there was pressure. You will have energy where there was exhaustion. You will realize that life without them is infinitely lighter. And you will question why it took you so long to let go. And the final revelation, the one you need to hear, even if it hurts: not every connection is meant to be maintained. Not every person is meant to be close. Not every relationship is meant to last. And forcing what is naturally incompatible is not love. It is not kindness. It is not virtue. It is violence disguised as diplomacy. Libra, you are a diplomat. You are a peacemaker. You are a bridge builder, but bridges are built between lands that want to be connected. And what happens when they don't? When geology, fundamental reality says that connection is not possible, you don't force bridges. You accept separation. You honor that some things are better apart. Distance isn't hate. Distance is wisdom. It's recognizing that closeness hurts more than separation. It's choosing health over obligation. It's loving yourself enough to say, "I can't be close," and that's okay, because you're not for everyone, and everyone isn't for you. And what about people you can't stand being around? They have their own people where chemistry works, where presence is natural, where connection flows, and you're preventing those connections by staying where you don't belong. That's selfishness disguised as altruism. So you let go, not with anger, not with drama, but with clarity, with honesty, with mutual respect, recognizing that incompatibility is not anyone's fault. It's simply a reality that needs to be honored. And when do you do that? When do you finally stop forcing impossible closeness? You create space for real connections, people where being together doesn't drain but energizes, where presence isn't work but a gift, where you can be completely yourself without forcing yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. And this is the life you deserve. Not a life where you're constantly adjusting to an incompatible person, but a life where you can breathe deeply and be completely present because the energy around you supports you instead of resisting you. So today, right now, you choose. Do you keep forcing what your body is begging to let go of? Or do you finally listen to the wisdom that is being offered? Do you still carry the guilt of not being able to make it work? Or do you accept that incompatibility is not a fault but information? Are you still sacrificing your peace for closeness that hurts you? Or are you honoring yourself enough to create distance that allows you to live? And the choice is yours. It always has been. And you won't be able to stay close to that person. Your body has already decided. Now your mind just needs to accept it. And your heart needs to forgive itself for not being able to love what is fundamentally incompatible, because you tried harder than most would, and that's enough, more than enough. And now you let go, and breathe, and live,